Hey, what's up, guys? This is Mike and Dane, and today we are going to talk about how Trump will affect U.S. automotive policies. We got Dane in the house. He's back from SEMA. How you doing, Dane?
Not too bad, bud. Good to see you. It was an exhausting trip.
Yeah, that was SEMA was rough, huh?
Yeah, SEMA's always rough, as an exhibitor. So we had a booth there that I was working. You just don't get much of a break. You're on all day long talking to customers and potential dealers, and man, it's just a grind, sun up to sundown. People think you get to go to Vegas and play and have a good time at these shows, and if you're working, you don't. But but it was good. You still get to see a lot of cool stuff. We'll do a follow up show, right, with a bunch of photos that I took and some video and stuff.
Oh, okay. So,
Yep.
Dane, elephant in the room.
hmm
Trump has won the election in a landslide. He won all the swing states, the popular vote, the Congress, everything. This is
Yeah.
crazy.
Has any candidate ever done such a thing, Republican or Democrat, in the past?
I think Ronald Reagan
Did he?
won in a landslide one time.
Okay.
He's right after Jimmy Carter, I think.
hmm
Is a little before my time, but that's what I heard.
Yeah. Yeah. So when I was in Vegas for this, obviously the voting was going on during that week, so everybody that I was with in that group had to go early. And so the show started on a Tuesday, which was election day, and the show was kind of slow. Like there wasn't as many people as you normally would expect at SEMA.
Yeah.
I think most people stayed home to vote and then flew in the next day because Wednesday it got busy, and people at the show were excited.
Oh yeah, about Trump winning.
Oh yeah, people are ready to spend money. They seem to be more confident in the stock market and just the economy in general. Like it's crazy how it just changes overnight.
Yeah, a lot of people are excited. Now, Dane, I heard that you wrote in Hillary Clinton as your vote. Is that true?
No comment.
No, Dane always votes for Hillary Clinton. I don't know why. That's his
Yeah,
favorite.
she's still my favorite, yeah. Still number 1.
Oh man. Well, look, I know this is a car news channel, but you can't really talk about car news without getting into politics. They are intermingled. It's hard to separate the two because politics directly um, has an effect on which cars you get a choice to buy.
Mhm.
So let's look at this article from Autoblog, and they are talking about how Trump's win could reshape U.S. car policy. Let's look at this article here. Let's see. Donald Trump's return to the presidency signals a potential shift for the U.S. electric vehicle market. Now, there are a lot of incentives that people get in order to buy electric cars, and there are a lot of policies that are pushing automakers into making electric cars. So let's see.
Mhm.
Throughout this campaign, Trump criticized policies aimed at boosting EV sales, vowing to dismantle environmental regulations he deemed burdensome, all while receiving over 100 million in donations from Elon Musk. All right, a lot of these articles on politics are they're pretty biased. I mean, it's
Yep.
pretty obvious. But we're going to look over these anyway.
Yep.
So I think they're trying to assume that Elon Musk is paying Trump to, um, you know, well, actually, no, they're not saying that. They're saying, despite Elon Musk paying them, they may be reducing a lot of the EV regulations.
Yeah, and to kind of, I think, decipher a little bit what's being said there, that sounds a little biased. I think Trump's policies, from the way I understand them, are more pro-business. We're not necessarily going to incentivize a certain type of vehicle. It's just gonna be what's good for the automakers in general and let them kinda make decisions.
Yeah, I think so too. Let's see. With the Trump administration in charge, an executive order could quickly roll back these standards about making EVs, easing pressure on automakers to meet current emissions goals by transitioning to EVs. All right, well, I think that's right. To be honest, look, let's be honest. I think cars are about as clean as they need to be.
Hmm.
I don't think we need a lot more regulations on gasoline vehicles or diesels. If it were up to me, I would just kind of stop where we're at and not put any more regulations on. And I think that as far as EVs, eh, it doesn't make sense to force an OEM to make a car that they really don't think is going to sell.
Hmm.
You've seen a lot of OEMs are pulling back on making these EVs because they're not selling. Like
Right.
these cars have to sell now.
Hmm.
Like you can't have these cars sitting on a lot because dealerships lose money every day they're on the lot. I mean, it has to, you got to make it, ship it, sell it, make it,
Hmm.
ship it, sell it. You can't make it, ship it, and then it sits there for 6 months
Right. We got to move these things daily.
daily. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, that Toyota dealership I go to get my parts has
Hmm.
had the same BZ4X sitting in the showroom since summertime.
Yeah.
It is almost Christmas time. The
Uh,
cars don't sell, man. Now, look,
yeah.
some EVs sell, and that's
Right.
the thing. I don't think that we should just abandon EVs. Like I saw an article recently that GM is sold a lot more EVs
Hmm.
than last year.
Yeah.
They're selling the Cadillac Lyriq, the EV Equinox. So some of them sell.
Yeah.
So I just think let's just let the automakers sell what they feel is appropriate.
Yeah. 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 This is, I mean, we don't always agree, but this is a time where I'm like, we're 100% on the same page. I think emission standards wise, obviously we don't want dirty air, but diesel and gasoline engines are what's coming out tailpipe is almost as clean as the air that goes in, which is very impressive. Where we need to improve is probably power plants, um, you know, airplanes, freight, that kind of stuff where we're seeing heavy amounts of pollution still. But that's a totally different thing. The
Yeah.
reason the auto manufacturers keep getting pushed into having to sell EVs, which isn't really a thing the government's saying that they have to do, they're getting cracked down even harder on emissions. So it's kind of forcing them into that realm. So easing up on that allows the manufacturer to do a couple things: continue to make the vehicles they make at a lower cost because they're not having to offset their EV losses with gasoline and hybrid vehicles. So it's better for the consumers all the way around. That's the major thing that it does. Um, and really, I'll just stop there. That's
Yeah.
really all that concerns people, right? Is the cars that they really do want are higher than they want to be. So let's worry about getting costs down and making better quality products there versus putting more money and development in a realm that people aren't that interested in yet anyways.
Yeah, I mean, cars cost more and more and more every year is because the government regulations, they keep adding things that they need to put in. They want them to have technology where they can see if you're distracted or not. Like it seems like they just arbitrarily tell automakers that they need to have this or they need to have that. And all this stuff costs a lot of money. It costs money in research and development. It costs money in parts. It costs money all around us. You can't even buy a new car for under $20,000 just
Right.
about.
Right. Yeah. It's all the small things. It's like it's mandatory to have backup cameras now. Like that's an expense. In
Yeah.
like the early 2000s, late 90s, it was mandatory for all cars to have AC. It's mandatory for all cars to have airbags. Now, you might want all these things in your car,
Then we got to
but
have airbags. Come on.
sure, but it's still an added expense, right? That's why these
Yeah.
things keep getting more and more expensive. Sure,
Yeah.
there's more creature comforts that people might want too, like they want power windows and cooled and heated seats, and all these things are going to add cost. They're going to add vehicle weight. But
Exactly.
once it starts getting mandated, they can't make you an economy car that's more affordable, even if they wanted to.
Yeah. Exactly. So, also the article states they're talking about a return to fossil fuels,
Hmm.
including offshore oil drilling, pipeline construction, to position the U.S. as a top natural gas exporter. We're going back to drill, baby, drill, and
Hmm.
it, we might as well drill as much natural resources as possible. The thing is, when we don't drill, we still use the exact same amount of natural resources. We just buy them from somewhere else. It's not
Yeah.
like we don't drill and then we sell less gas. We still buy the same amount of gas. We just buy it from Iran or uh,
Right. And then people want to complain that
wherever.
we're in a trade deficit, right? We're in a trade deficit with, OPEC because we're buying all this foreign oil, but we don't have to be. We could be buying it from ourselves,
Right.
and it could be cheaper that way. And it would also drive the cost of the, overseas oil down as well if we were drilling it too. That's what used to happen.
It
When
would.
Trump left office, we were drilling a fair amount. Oil was pretty cheap because not just because we were drilling in United States, but OPEC was also in kind of a war amongst themselves.
Mhm.
They have an agreement between those nations that are all involved with OPEC and OPEC plus that they're going to sell oil for X dollars. They kind of have a price fixing thing, and they're not going to drill any more than X amount of barrels. Well, I can't remember who it was. If it was Russia or Ukraine, or if it was Iran, or who knows what it was that was like started drilling more than what the agreement was. And then so someone else started drilling more. And so they had this surplus of oil, which just made prices plummet. And that was
Oh,
partially because of what we were doing. Well, the first day that Biden goes into office, he says, no more American oil drilling. We're cutting it off today.
yeah.
Just like that. All the American oil drillers are out of a job because oil prices shoot up immediately, which causes everything else in the economy to go up, causes your bread and milk to go up,
It's inflation.
all your goods to go up. Yep, everything goes up when oil goes up.
I'm saying people, they get on TV and they're saying, "Oh, how come Kamala Harris didn't win? She did a great campaign." Look, it doesn't matter how good of a campaign she did. The Biden Harris performance over the last 4 years
Mm-hmm.
has not been good. Inflation is crazy. And it's not just food. It's definitely food, but it's everything: rent, insurance, the cost of a house. I looked up the cost of two of the houses that I flipped a few years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and they are like $60,000-$70,000 more than what I sold
Yep.
them for.
Yep.
My house right here is worth more than $70,000 more than when I bought it.
Same. My house went up 40%. 40%
So
from when I bought it 7 years ago.
rent is much higher, and she says she's going to solve this by giving people, a more of a tax break when they have a kid. Like, how's that going to help inflation? This isn't
That,
going to
that,
help anything.
that doesn't help, right? Or they say they're going to take more from the rich, the quote unquote rich. They don't ever say who that is, but then they
Yeah,
don't give it to the people. They keep it for themselves and then spend twice as much money as they take.
exactly. The
So
thing
yeah,
is,
people,
like,
go ahead.
uh, um, you think that you're going to take it from the rich. The thing is, the rich people already pay the majority of the taxes,
Yep.
and people who from a lower income, they don't pay any federal income taxes. They get money back every year. And you look, I know it's kind of mean to say, but a lot of times the people, they spend this money on bullshit,
Yeah.
and it just goes back to rich people anyway.
100%. Yeah. If you're what they consider rich, just to get that out of the way, is people that bring in a household total income, so that can be across the husband and a wife, of $150,000 to $175,000 a year. That is rich under their definition.
Yeah,
And
not
that
really.
so that price point up to people that make Jeff Bezos money is about somewhere between 10% of earners in the country. Well, that 10% of earners pays about 85% of the whole taxes
Yeah.
of the country. So everybody else is paying a smaller amount if you're below that. So if you're talking about fair share, know those numbers.
Oh man. So,
Hmm.
oh, boy, let's look at. Let's see. I gotta bring up the next link. This was an article they were talking about car interest loans.
Hmm.
So they were saying they might try to make car interest loans like deductible
Hmm.
on your taxes. So let me bring up that article. Now, the article was saying they're saying a lot of the low income people don't itemize their taxes, so this
Hmm.
cut really wouldn't help them. But the point is, when you sell a lot more vehicles because of these cuts, it
Mhm.
helps all the people that make these cars, which are, middle income, or some of them are lower income too. So it does help people
Yep.
at the lower end of the spectrum too.
Yep.
Let's see, where is the other article?
Yeah,
So
and
this
then
is,
the opposite's the same too, right? As they raise taxes on businesses, it just again makes goods go up, just like when oil prices go up. It hurts the poor by raising taxes on the higher earners than it helps, more than it helps.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yep.
So this is an article from CNN. So it's going to be biased from the beginning.
Oh,
But
of course.
so this article: Trump promises new tax relief for car loan interest and citizens living abroad. Here we go.
Mhm.
Former President Donald Trump unveiled yet another set of targeted tax break proposals on Thursday, doling out more promises of relief as election day draws ever closer. So this was before the
Yep.
election. They wrote this. So they're saying Trump promised to make the interest paid on car loans fully tax deductible, similar to the popular existing deduction for mortgage interest. Michigan, home to many automakers. All right, she says this in Michigan.
Mhm.
Um, so they're saying this will stimulate massive domestic auto production to make car ownership dramatically more affordable for millions of working families, noting that many people in the audience work in the automotive industry. Of course, it is in Michigan.
Yep.
A lot of people in Michigan have jobs related to the automotive industry in some way.
Mhm.
Let's see. So they're saying so there's a detailed plan to save the American auto industry. You vote for Trump, you will see a mass exodus in manufacturing jobs, not from Mexico to Michigan. All right, so he's saying jobs will come from Mexico back to Michigan,
Mhm.
and from Shanghai to Sterling Heights. So Sterling Heights is a suburb
Yeah, of
of
Detroit.
Detroit, and
Yep.
is very nice there. I've been there,
Mhm.
but yeah, a lot of jobs. He's saying a lot of jobs will come back to the U.S. Do you think that's going to happen?
I this is where I have concerns with his policy. And
Yeah.
so he's going to do this by throwing tariffs on the foreign manufacturers. And I don't know that that is the best way to do things. Um, Reducing the cost of doing goods in America makes a lot of sense to incentivize companies to keep things here because you can kind of offset or hopefully offset the cost of shipping and higher, other, costs of doing business overseas. So hopefully it makes more sense to just do business here. But just by making stuff more expensive to import for other countries doesn't necessarily make it better here. It doesn't give companies the time to then bring stuff back. All of a sudden, if you overnight make a tariff that tomorrow everything's going to be more expensive to import, now all these companies are in panic mode.
Mhm.
And now there's going to be supply shortages. They need to figure out how to bring everything back. It I
It
see it
takes
being
a
a
while.
problem.
Yeah, I think a lot of times though, when they threaten tariffs, they're
Hmm.
using it as leverage to get better deals elsewhere,
Yep.
or they're using it as leverage to keep people from leaving in the first place.
Hmm.
I know John Deere was thinking about leaving, and then Trump started saying, "Oh, we're gonna put a whole bunch of tariffs on you," and then they started rethinking these plans.
Yeah.
So I think it's just a way to leverage negotiations for getting better deals.
Hmm.
Um, but I was thinking about what you said the other day about BYD having tariffs
Hmm.
and not letting them into the country. I don't like maybe if we could use that as a negotiating leverage and say, look, we got to sell more US cars in China
Hmm.
if you want to sell your cars in the US. And I was thinking maybe they could let BYD sell cars like only in California or Washington, since they love communism so much anyway. They could,
Right.
maybe they could make a B, but they would have to make a BY. I think instead of just letting them import from Mexico,
Hmm.
let them open up a plant in California
Right.
and make the cars over here and sell the cars in California. That I think that might work.
Yeah, that makes more sense. That way they're employing Americans too,
Yeah,
and doing some of the manufacturing here because, we do pretty good work for the most part in America is on the manufacturing side of things.
it's
And
true. I'm sick
tariff
of people saying that we don't. I'm sick of it.
there's plenty of examples where it has fell short, but it has been very good in the past. It can be the best in the world again. We just got to get back on our feet, and getting the economy going again will help that.
Exactly. I think it would be interesting to see the the interaction between these all the socialists or communists in California, the native communists, how they deal with an actual communist country,
Hmm.
and it would, I think the Chinese might be upset about how many regulations there are in California to get this plant made. They probably gonna give them all type of environmental regulations, like, oh, there's a special frog that lives in this area, and we have to we
Yeah.
can't make the plant here for these three frogs that live over here.
Right. Yeah. There's some of that nonsense that just slows things down and makes things more expensive than they need to be.
Yeah,
Reducing regulations for that kind of stuff will just, again, help the economy as well.
exactly. But yeah, so maybe people think tariffs and they're just going to throw tariffs everywhere. But I think they're just a lot of negotiating. They're using it as leverage. I mean, you got to have some leverage going in there. It seemed like Trump likes to have like make a big deal or a big threat over something, and
Hmm.
and he brings that into the negotiation. But once he gets into the negotiation, then he uses that as leverage just to make a better deal.
Yeah. He's good at getting people to the table to talk. Right. He throws something out that's kind of crazy, but it gets them to respond. And now the
Yeah,
conversation's open. Right. Versus some leaders in the past won't do anything. Right.
yeah,
What they
exactly.
sit, they don't talk. They say, no, we're not friends. It's better to be friends with everybody because when you want everybody to be able to make money.
Yeah,
It just brings costs down and it makes relationships better.
but but yeah, I think you got to scare him a little bit at first. Like you remember in the guy in North Korea, the dictator,
He called him Rocket
they
Man, and
called
then
him
he's
Rocket
like,
Man.
hey.
There's a guy. He was like, I have a button on my desk for thermonuclear war, and then Trump's like, I have a bigger button on my desk, and my nukes work. So it was crazy. It seems crazy to say that, but
Yep.
then at the end of the day, he went over there. He talked to the guy. He made a deal. They stopped throwing rockets around for a little while, at least. And
Yep.
I think this is a really good strategy, and it seems insane, but it seems to work.
It does seem crazy because he says a lot of wild stuff that I'm like, "What are you doing? Why are you saying that?"
Yeah,
I do not agree with, but at the same time, he does get results. So
yeah.
he's a
You
billionaire. I'm the exact opposite of that. So
Yeah, it's
whether I
hard.
agree with him or not, he has results that I can't show.
You just got to look at the results. I mean,
Yeah.
they're already talking about trying to end the war in Ukraine now. Like
Right.
Trump's not even in office.
Yeah, I know.
Hamas is about to surrender. Everybody's surrendered. I think all these wars is about to be over
Right.
because they are afraid, or they feel like they can make a deal with Trump. Let's get a deal made. I mean, these wars have gone on long enough. I understand why you would want to have a proxy war with Russia, but I think is enough already. Their military's been weakened,
Hmm.
and it's enough. Let's get over these wars, and
Yep. Let's put our differences behind us and be friends.
exactly. Let's at least have war peace for a little while. We
Yeah.
gotta
Let's have a good working relationship.
let's make some money.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right, but yeah. So anyway, this CNN article is they are saying that let's see, a lot of these people who don't make as much money won't be helped by this tax credit, this tax, not having tax on interest
Hmm.
for vehicles. They think it's just campaign pandering. But
Hmm.
the thing is, I think it could help a lot. Just just because the very lowest of income earners don't have vehicles. Like there are people who are just above that, but
Hmm.
who are still struggling, and they do have car loans.
Yeah.
And just because they don't itemize right now doesn't mean that they couldn't in the future.
Right.
I mean, I pay a little bit of a car note on my 2017 Camry. It will help me not to pay have interest on that. And then you could direct people. They're saying they might have it just for cars made in the U.S.,
Hmm.
which will really help. I think we're not politicians and we don't really know policy that well, but these policies seem like a good idea. And I think CNN is just kind of ants at a picnic right now.
Yeah. Yeah. CNN stocks going to go up now that Trump's back in office. You guys remember how bad it dipped when he was out?
Oh yeah,
People got something to panic about for no reason.
they are. They got something to talk about now.
Yeah.
So Dane, let me show you this video. It looks like these people are panicking a little bit. They're really upset, and we got to tell you guys, you do not want to get into a fight over over driving around.
Yeah.
Try to avoid road rage. Look at this guy.
Hmm. Oh
So
man,
they are fighting in the middle of the highway.
dude, he needs some boxing lessons from you.
I know.
You guys are throwing wild, terrible
You
form.
keep your chin down.
Yeah, no kidding.
Where's the jab? Uh-oh. This is about to be a new type of jab.
Keep your
Let
hands
me
up.
let me warn you, having grown up in the hood in West Philly, if somebody's going to their
Uh-oh.
trunk, you need to
Run,
get out of there. Run.
run.
Drive away. Don't wait.
You know this is bad.
He's not going to give you a present. Oh.
Oh, now what?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Just drive away. This can't
Oh
end
no!
well.
Oh no!
Ah!
Oh no!
Oh man. He back right into him.
Ah, and he busted his radiator.
Oh man. That is crazy. You guys, it's not worth it.
No, this
Just
is bad.
just walk away.
Yeah.
Or what? Yo, Dane, I gotta show you. I'll show you next time. I watched this young lady on YouTube,
Hmm.
and she makes hidden camera videos.
Oh yeah.
And they're in the hood, and she walks up to people, and she'll just start asking them questions and being really rude. And she'd be like, "Where you going?" He's like, "Oh, I'm just going down the street." He's like, "Where the McDonald's at?" And they'll be like, "Oh, it's down the street." And they'll be like, "Don't talk to me don't tell me what to do." So she's purposely trying to get people to be mad at her.
Oh, that's
And
funny.
she did that to one girl. She's like, "What you want to throw down?" And
Oh
the girl
wow.
looked at her, and the girl just ran in the other direction.
It's getting real now.
But the thing is, it's like, you know what? People are insane right now,
Hmm.
and sometimes you just want to avoid them. I mean, she even did that to this guy who's way bigger than her, and he
Really?
just walked away. He's like, "You know what? Have a nice day." And
Oh
she's just
wow.
walking around. She's walking behind him. He's like, "Have a nice day," and he just keep walking.
Oh
So
man.
that's what you got to do, man. People are insane right now.
Yeah. Yeah. You never know who you're messing with when you're talking to strangers. So don't find yourself on the wrong end of a situation.
I know, and there's no rules in a
No.
street fight, and you could even if you're good at fighting. Oh man, I was watching somebody, and he was saying it's like he knew Brazilian jiu-jitsu and MMA.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Look, man, if somebody wants to fight you in the street, just don't do it, and definitely don't get on the ground." He said he was fighting some guy on the street. He had him on the ground, and the guy's girlfriend came up and kicked him right in the face,
Yeah.
knocked one of his teeth out.
Yeah.
So it's too many variables. Like
Yep.
unless
Just
you absolutely have to,
yep.
it's
Do what you
just
can to
not
get out of
safe.
there. Yep.
It's not safe to fight on the street. All right,
Punch
let's
and run.
do yeah. Or just run like that girl that
Yeah, or just run. Yeah.
at least because it's cameras everywhere. So
Hmm.
somebody's probably going to have you on camera, at least if there's a trial and they see you running and the guy runs after you to try to fight, at least you have that as a defense. Be like, look, I
Mhm.
tried to run away from this situation. They ran after me.
Right.
I defended myself, and now they got hurt. So they be like, well, we can't really charge you. You tried to get away from them.
Mhm.
All right, let's do one more story and we'll get out of here. Dane, I don't know if you know about Audis. I know you know about BMWs, but Audi
Yep.
is in trouble. I don't know what we're going to do with them. I have no idea how to help Audi. Maybe you got some ideas, but
Never, no, probably not. And Audi, before we even go into the article, they're probably okay, right? They're part of the Volkswagen Group, and the Volkswagen Group owns half of the automotive industry, whether
yeah,
it's manufacturers or just their automakers inside of that group. A small dip in sales isn't going to hurt them. But let's
let's
continue.
see. Let's see. They're saying Audi, and this is an article from Car Scoops if you want to check out the whole thing, but Audi is struggling with declining sales and profits, impacting its overall market performance. While it blames a challenging market and competitive conditions, deeper issues stem from an aging lineup. They're saying there are some new models on the horizon, but these problems won't be fixed overnight. Their sales are down, their EVs are struggling, and they're saying they're saddled with an aging and uninspired lineup. They
Mhm.
are, let's see, dealers were only able to move about 140,000 vehicles in the US, and that's in the first 9 months of this year. They're down about almost 17% from last year. Their Chinese sales are down 8.5%. European sales are down almost 10%. And they want to cut their workforce by 15%. And that is thousands of jobs. This is not good. A 15% reduction in a workforce is never a good thing. If you are working at Audi, I would get my resume ready if I were you.
Mhm.
They will lay off anybody, no matter if you are good at your job or not.
Mhm.
They're saying their bread and butter models are old and outdated. This is not good. Let's look.
Mhm.
Dane, what do you think? It seems like I
Got
really
a
don't
couple cars that are
understand.
really exciting. Sorry, go ahead.
I don't understand Audis at all. I don't understand why people buy Audis. I understand why people buy BMWs. I understand Mercedes. I
Mhm.
don't get Audi. I've never seen an Audi. Well, other than some of the sports cars that look cool. The
Yeah.
regular cars, they just look so boring to me.
Yeah. So Audi is to Volkswagen like Lexus is to Toyota, for those that aren't familiar with Audi, I guess, the most part.
Yeah.
And there are some Audi models that you can't, or features on Audis that you can't get with Volkswagens. So one of the cars that I do not think they're struggling with is the RS3. So it's got a very high performance engine. It's literally half of the Lamborghini engine. So the Lamborghini engine's a V10. The Audi RS3's got an inline five. That thing's capable of making well over 1,000 horsepower on the stock end, on the stock bottom end. So like cars like that are doing okay. Everything else is just a Volkswagen Jetta or Passat or what have you with nicer interior.
They look at this. This doesn't look that great.
Yeah, they're just
Maybe that's some of the appeal for Audis, like that they don't look, um, as it looks like you're rich, but you're trying not to draw attention to yourself. Am I getting that right?
yeah, they're a toned down luxury sedan, essentially. Um, yeah, and sedan sales in general are just down across the whole industry, and EV sales are down across the whole industry too. So, I'm not really surprised here. If they made more of a move towards SUVs in the American market, they'd probably do a little better. But I think Europeans are still buying a fair amount of sedans. But yeah, some small shifts in models like this stuff is probably
They're not.
okay. But man, they're
They're not.
expensive.
They're not buying these.
No, no. These things are expensive too. The economy's hurting a little bit. I mean, we'll see what happens in the new economy coming up here in the next year once office changes a little bit. But yeah, that's my only advice for these guys.
Dane,
Mhm.
do you think that maybe rich people have changed and they're being more accepting of looking cool than they used to be?
It kind of depends. It's like kind of when you first get money, you want to buy stuff to kind of show that you have it, but then you
Yeah.
don't actually have it because you just spent it on stuff. And then
Yeah.
once you had money for a while, you're like, I don't need to prove anything to anybody. So you just keep building, and then all of a sudden you have a ton of money in your pocket. It's kind of like that, right?
Yeah. Uh,
So
I
there's
understand
probably,
that.
with the economy tanking, and not doing so hot in the last few years, there's just less people that are willing to show off. I think is
Yeah.
maybe another symptom if that's what you're leading into.
Yeah, maybe they're I don't know. Let's see what the comments have to say.
Hmm.
Maybe they understand Audis.
This is where the truth is at.
The truth is in the comments. This
Hmm.
guy says, one thing's for sure, they can't keep jacking up prices and expect sales to increase.
Yeah, sounds
Yeah,
100%
that
right.
makes right. This guy says they need to stop the EVing first. So they're saying that their EVs are bleeding money from the company because nobody's buying their EVs. That
Agree. That goes for every manufacturer. They're dumping a ton of money into research and development and engineering costs into these EVs, and they're not seeing a return. So it just kills sales for everything. Makes them have to raise prices somewhere else to try and compensate.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Hmm.
This guy says I'd put an end to the jelly bean SUVs. The Q3 and 5 are the worst offenders. The Q7 needs a sportier look as well. The Q8 does this well. The
Hmm.
sedans would ideally get proper rear-wheel drive platforms. The designs aren't bad. They would look so much better with the front wheels moved further forward. Lastly, scrap the old and new interior designs. The new ones look like they came from a Chevy Trax.
Oh,
Hey,
that's
what's wrong with a
deep,
Chevy Trax, Ryan?
that's a deep burn, but I
Uh,
mostly agree.
this
Hmm.
guy says, return to the clean, honest, understated designs of yore. So yeah, they're understated.
Hmm.
Some people think the current designs are bland, but I find them busy and a bit gimmicky. The superfluous design elements are and ever expanding grills are tiring. Leave the look at me designs to BMW. Stop trying to appeal to the Chinese market. That ship has sailed. Okay. So this guy wants them to look less interesting.
Hmm.
But how do you have a difference between bland and understated? Like to me, they are bland and understated.
Yeah, I think he likes a specific year range, and that's kind of what he hopes to have back.
Yeah.
A reason for the big grill openings is, a lot of these cars are turbocharged now
Oh,
or
okay.
needing to make more horsepower. So they need extra cooling. So to get more cooling, you need more airflow. And to get more airflow, something's got to change in the front end, right? You can't have them completely closed off. Uh,
I heard they did that because people in China like giant grills.
really?
Because they always had turbos, right?
Not all of them, but yeah, they've had turbos on a lot of the early ones, but they were never standard really. There's a lot of them that come standard now with turbo engines, but they're smaller displacement turbo engines. They're still an economy car, but not a high
Oh,
horsepower setup.
oh no. Let's see. This is the Audi website,
Yep.
and these are some of the Audis that are for sale. They got one, two, three, four. They got four electric cars at least,
Yeah,
and
no thanks.
nobody's buying any of them
Nope.
apparently. See, this is a shame. I feel bad, even though I don't really like Audi. I feel bad that they get forced into making EVs that nobody buys, and then they have to lose a bunch of money and lay off a bunch of people. Where they wouldn't have done that if they hadn't been forced. And you know what? I think if they do need to be bailed out, them or any automaker, then
Hmm.
they need to get bailed out because it wasn't even their idea to make all these electric cars.
Right. Yeah, they got forced into doing something that they didn't want to do, but
So they have a A8 and a S8.
hmm yeah. So
This
the S would be a
this
little
looks
bit
like
higher performance lineup.
this looks like the most boring car I ever saw in my life.
Yeah, this is a luxury sedan.
This is their top performer, huh?
Yeah, this is like their executive luxury sedan. You get driven in this car. You don't drive this car.
Oh,
Put your driver up there. You sit in the back, take care of business.
excuse me, Mr. Millionaire.
Yeah,
I
billionaire.
mean, billionaire.
Hmm.
I can't even imagine having $1 billion. I don't know what I would even do with that much money.
I'd have $1 billion worth of stuff, that's for sure. I wouldn't have a single dollar of it. I would spend it
You
very irresponsibly.
so, Dane, if you had $1 billion, which luxury car would you get between Audi, BMW, or Mercedes? Let's say they're top of the line sedan.
Oh, boy, I don't know. I don't
Would you get
know.
a S class? Would you get the 7 Series BMW or this Audi S8?
I'd probably get the BMW, but the Audi would be a really close second.
What, the one we just saw?
Yeah, I really like that car actually.
Why?
It's just a
What do you
nice
like
car.
about it?
Yeah, I got a friend with a smaller 5, but
Yeah.
similar drivetrain, and it's a fast car, and it's very comfortable. Um, they're nice cars. They're just very expensive.
You like them more than a S class?
Dude, that's such a hard one. And here's the thing, right? You can't go wrong with any 3 of those cars. They're all incredible cars. They're just all very expensive. So I'm kind of going off of the one that I like the way it looks more.
Yeah.
And I'd say the S class, I don't necessarily like the way it looks as much as I do the BMW or the S8, but y- none of them are bad. They're all good cars. They're just going to cost you a fortune.
Oh man. But you have to pick one. You'd pick the Audi.
All right, I'll go with the BMW just
So
because I've got a
you'd pick
handful of
the
BMWs already.
I'd probably get the Mercedes.
Really.
Man, I've always liked Mercedes, man.
That's too. I like AMGs. I just never owned one.
That S class is so comfortable.
Yeah.
But the
Speaking of
BMW has that giant screen that comes down, but I don't know. What if you get in an accident and that screen goes flying in the car?
whatever, you probably got bigger things to worry about if the screen goes flying.
I'm always worried about what'll happen in the accident.
Yeah. Speaking of Mercedes, though, at SEMA this last week, there was someone that built a G Wagon that was 6-wheel drive.
Oh
So
yeah?
it had dual rear axles in the back, and then, of course, front steering is lifted a little bit. If I had $1 billion, I would have that. That thing was
You'd buy
awesome.
that one?
Yeah, oh yeah, dude. It was G Wagons do nothing for me, but then when I saw the 6-wheel drive one, I was like, sign me up. I want that right now.
All right, Dane, would you get the Mustang Dark Horse? Let's look at this guy.
Yes.
All right, so this is this is a this is a electronic parking brake.
Yep.
So there's no actual line between this and the rear brakes.
Yep.
But all this does is there are electric motors in the rear brake calipers now, and
Mhm.
this will turn that on in order so you could drift better.
Mhm.
You know that?
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. This car is pretty awesome.
Look at this. See, it's a
Yeah.
drift brake, and it's got all this stuff.
Yeah, it's got a ton of
Launch
cool
control. It's
modes.
got a launch control. Look at this.
Oh yeah.
You could decide what RPM you want to launch at. This is crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool tech in the that new Mustang. It's a pretty sweet car.
Let's see. You want to hear it?
Oh yeah, I know what it sounds like. It's got a flat plane motor. It sounds awesome. Yeah. That's America right there.
That's America. That's America.
Yeah.
That's
I love it.
Look at it got graphics on the front for the different modes.
Yeah. That's a little much for me, but it's still a pretty sweet car.
Look, you could change the way it looks.
Yeah, I like the
This
retro gauges. That's pretty cool.
this is how my Mustang used to look, my
Yeah, that's sweet.
2011, and it was based off of like the 60s gauges. So now you
Mhm.
can get them in electronic form.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
And then they got the Fox body, I think that is, or like the 80s Mustang.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I wanted to show you one more thing before we get out of here.
Cool.
This will be both of us have been technicians,
Yep.
and this I'm going to show you looks like the most dangerous technician repair maybe in history. It's got to be in the top 10.
I'm ready to be impressed.
We have done hard technician jobs. I think this is a job that I would 100% not do ever in life.
Hmm.
I know I've said I want to fix everything, but this is one thing I would refuse to fix. Look at this. This is this guy. This is, I guess, when airplanes first came out
Yep.
and the wheel fell off,
Yep.
so the guy can't land.
Hmm.
And look, watch this thing. This is outrageous.
Oh, hell yeah.
Look at this. The guy gets on another plane.
And Wing walks over.
He walks over. He's going to get onto the other plane that doesn't have a wheel. Look at this.
Hell yeah.
Oh man. That this guy's got to be in the Mechanic Hall of Fame.
Dude, for real. If you
Look
you,
at
you
this.
want this guy to be your mechanic. Anytime, anywhere, any conditions, I got you.
This is amazing. Dane, I got to start the Mechanic Hall of Fame.
Dude, this guy is going to be your first entry.
He's got to be in there. Look at that.
What a
And he comes down on the plate. Oh my gosh.
what a stud.
I know this man is probably, this is a long time ago, so he's probably no longer with us, but there's a big salute to this man wherever you are. Hopefully you are in heaven.
I would like to shake your hand, sir.
Hopefully you are in mechanic heaven.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Dane, since we're talking about if there's a mechanic heaven, you know that there's a mechanic hell, right?
Oh man, there's plenty of guys in there.
I think I had a dream one time that there was a place called Mechanic Hell, and in there you have to you're just in a cell by yourself at night, and during the day you have to still work on cars, but you have to work on them without any manual, and they're really complicated.
And they're all Audis. You can do timing
Yes,
chains on
it
all
was
the Audis.
Audi. They were out there. Whatever your whatever car you hate the most is the car
Yeah.
you had to work on, and for me it was Audi.
Yeah.
So I had to work on Audis all day, and if I didn't get the work done, they'll beat you before you go back to your cell. So you have motivation to finish.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was mechanic hell, and mechanics to go to mechanic hell are mechanics who lie or they tell people that things are broken when they're not on purpose. Like they don't make a mistake, but they see your brake pads are thick, but they tell you need brake pads anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, you don't want to go to mechanic hell, people.
No.
But anyway, that guy, he's got to be in mechanic heaven. That was an amazing job. I think maybe that's got to be in the Hall of Fame. I got to find some other mechanics in the Hall of Fame. Maybe there's a mechanic out there who like fixed a nuclear reactor or something like before it melted down.
Yep.
I got to do some research for opening the Mechanic Hall of Fame.
Definitely.
But that's what we got for you today. If you have any questions or comments, please put your questions in the comments, and then I will comment on your comment.
Can I plug something real quick?
Yeah. What's up?
So I got a handful of different interviews with some of the customers that had builds at SEMA this year. And those videos and interviews will be coming out on the CVF Racing YouTube channel. There's already 2 out. Yeah, so you guys can check those out now. And there's a bonus one too, where we did a collaboration with Harrop Superchargers and Mike Finnegan. You probably know him from a handful of different Motor Trend shows like Roadkill, Hot Rod Garage, Fast with Finnegan. He's got his own Finnegan Speed and Marine. Yeah, there you go. So
you said CVF Racing?
CVF Racing, yeah, open that sucker up.
So Dane, you made some of these videos?
Yep. So actually that first one there with the truck, that's on the left, that's my pickup. That's the one I just finished up. If you guys wanted to see that, but then go to the right, there's the another truck we did a hot rod bio, but go right one more. So we did that donk, that was at SEMA. So
Dane, don't copyright me.
Yeah, probably. But anyways, yeah, that's Rico from Stitch by Slick.
All right.
Did all the interior work. And so, yeah, we do a walkthrough on a handful of different customer builds while we're at SEMA.
Oh, smart. Look at Dane at SEMA. Oh, man, look at this. Look at that.
Yeah, so there's a bunch more stuff coming. We got Zach Pennock's 63 Impala coming up, which was a car that absolutely just stole the show there. Every time I walk by it, it's got
Okay.
a crowd around it the whole time. It's red Impala on hydraulics with a huge blower, a lot of engraving and gold plating on it. This 63 Caprice, absolutely immaculate inside and out.
Nice.
Yeah, we just did a handful of things. So yeah, keep an eye out for some of that, guys. And then the interview with Mike Finnegan is on the Hair Up TV YouTube channel. That
Okay.
was also a fun collaboration.
All right. Yeah. So go on over to CVF Racing and look at some of Dane's videos from SEMA.
Hmm.
Dane is all over. Dane, you're a mogul now. You got an Instagram. You making videos for CVF Racing.
Yeah,
Dane, I think you are going to be rich one day, and you get your BMW 7 Series.
maybe working towards it.
All right. All right. Well, that's what we got for you today. Uh, let us know in the comments what you think of this. Go check out CVF Racing. Hopefully, with Trump back in office, the automotive industry will pick up. Hopefully, Stellantis won't go out of business. We gotta get this America's car industry great again. So there we go.
I like it.
This will benefit everyone in America.
That's right.
Anyway, thank you for tuning in, and as always, have a good one.